Hi everybody, this is Leonard Hosman, better known as Lenny Hosman from Cinematic Wedding Story. I'm here to talk to you about something absolutely horrible that happened to me over the last 2 weeks. It's something that I just feel I need to share with everybody in our videography community. I've currently taken over my wife's YouTube studio. This is where she does her pattern drafting and creates garments of all kinds. Figured since it was set up, why not give it a shot? Of course, I shut off one Kino flow and added a little bit of blue light over there. Let me get to the point. I was shooting a 30-second spot for an appliance company, regionally local to me. What ended up happening was my Canon 5D recording some small testimony. Towards the end of the very last interview, my Canon 5D Mark III locked up with an error code 82. I was using a CF card, Transcend UDMA 32 gigabyte 400 times compact flash. I'd like to say that I've had good luck with these. This is the second time that something of this kind has happened to me. With this error code, you would think I could use some of that software that's out there to recover an error code or a clip that's not even a kilobyte of data. It just says the big whopping 0. There was nothing. I couldn't even mount the card. Nothing. I tried my wife's Mac, tried 3 PCs. Couldn't try a Unix system because I didn't have one readily available. If I could, I would. Bottom line is this. The CF card crapped out. It died. It just shit the bed. It was over. And apparently this happens over time. It could have been anything. It could have been a brownout off the battery. It could have been the fact that I was feeding it too much information, because I should point out that I was shooting 30p all I. Probably should have been on IBP. I panicked and I grabbed every single recovery software I could online. And I've accumulated a few over time. SD cards, SanDisk has their own version. You can get anything from Pony. You can pretty much get stuff from Sony based on the EX3 codec that will rebuild a clip in the event that there's any corruption. And I've used it. It works fine. It's great. In those types of situations, it means that there's data actually on the card. What I come to find out is there's a series of chips in these cards. I don't know if it's a redundant recording such as the Panasonic P2. There's got to be some sort of error correction versus CF cards versus the standard SD cards, and I don't think I have an SD card. However, there's all sorts of different types of media, and I'm sure one of us or one of you have run into this situation where your media is dead. Your hard drive's clicking. You listen to it and it just won't get past the header information. You can't mount it. You can't do anything with it, because a lot of us even hate just going back to a backup. You have them and they're great to have. Sometimes we get a little lazy. Maybe start a project and say, I'll back it up tomorrow. We're out of time. Client wants their stuff. They want to see something now and you're out of luck. I've had issues with Western Digital. However, I love this company. I probably had issues with every single company out there, because the truth of the matter is these are all mechanical discs with magnetics, with a head, like an old tape recorder, ATA hard drive. I know I have family stuff on here and I can't mount it. Can't do anything with it. Let's get back to the story of the CF card. After trying every single possible software program that I knew that could rip any of these things into a raw format for me, and then I could actually do some sort of replace the header, replace the footer, swap it out with another, taken from the same camera and within the same series, and it works. I've done that, but 9 times out of 10, the audio's corrupt, there's skipped frames. But in this situation, I was not able to save myself. So I started to look online for information on how to mount, just to get this thing logged in, somehow mounted onto my PC. After all avail, I couldn't find anything. All I could find were forum after forum after forum, blog posts, message boards that said, you probably have a dead card. I came across a YouTube video of a fella that was doing a very similar video such as this, and he was actually discussing how you're supposed to transport your media to him. Well, I started to watch a little bit more of this fella, and his name is Erkin. He's located in Ottawa, Ontario. Erkin has a service that he provides to anybody looking for data recovery services.
Hello everybody and welcome to another episode with HDD Recovery Services.
I was so impressed with what he was demonstrating on what he would go through. I mean, we're talking the lengths, the degree of accuracy that is involved. And I used to work in this industry. I've seen it firsthand. When you're removing chips from PCB boards and you're placing them into EEPROM readers and you're pulling data off of it and you're actually building sectors and building different types of ECM memory, I mean, it is the most impressive thing I've ever seen in my life. This fella took one of these and actually ripped it apart, took out 4 memory chips out of it, actually heated it up with a heat gun, pulled them off, dropped them into one of his many, many devices. I mean, we're talking, this guy is got James Bond kind of stuff. And he recovered all the data into a system. He then rebuilt the structure of it and then created an image file out of it. He was then able to pull this photographer's pictures, and they were all there. He made every single one of these pictures reappear. Now, you'd think, well, shit, I can rip one of these things apart and sew it together. No, you can't. Believe me, you got to know exactly what you're doing. You got to have the software tools. Not only do you have to have the hardware tools, such as heat guns, safety goggles, air vent, flux, solder, everything you could possibly imagine that would go into something like this. And plus, he treats it like a clean room environment. It is extremely, extremely impressive. I sat and watched 3 of his videos alone just because I was so floored about what he was doing. And before I knew it, I was like 45 minutes into watching his videos and realized I got to do something about my card. You know what I did is I picked up the phone and I called him directly, and he says, I can help you. Send me the card and I'll do the best I can. Another amazing thing is if he can't recover the data, you don't pay a cent. So this guy is going to go through the process of ripping the card apart and doing everything he possibly can, running it through every single simulation he has to in order to recover your data, or recover even a smidget of data. These old USB drives. You remember this? USB 2? We thought we were the bomb back then. Wow, I got this mini little hard drive. These things go like mad. Who's to say that these SSD cards are not going to go away? They're not going to burn out over time. I'm sure that they are. Like anything else, everything has a lifespan. It just can't take that on, off, in, out. It's going to break down over a while. A lot of us thought that this stuff was completely indestructible or redundant, or, this is the, magic way to be capturing things. Well, guess what? It acts just like tape in many, many ways. Eventually, it's going to break down and it's not going to work. I can't begin to tell you how many of these things I have floating around that just don't work. I will tell you this as a point. I would recommend firing them up once every 30 days. If you're holding data on these things, keep those things moving every once in a while. You can't let them sit dormant in a dark place because they're going to rust up. There's mechanical parts in here. So just keep that in mind. Back to Erkin, and he gave me a break on my situation because he knew how crucial it was and how embarrassed I would be if I had to go back to my client and say, I have to record those testimonials again because my camera and CF card failed. Pretty embarrassing. I got a deadline to next Tuesday. This has got to be on the air and I don't have any data. Erkin was able to recover every single bit of my data and give me an actual list of clips that he was able to recover. There was about 32 clips in all. And I'm giving this information to everybody that is in the videography world or the photography world to know that everybody's been at the point where they've lost some sort of data on any type of card. And they know that someday there is a possibility somebody's going to be able to either develop some sort of software or develop some sort of service or creation in order to get that information off there and rebuild it and get it back to you. It could be precious family memories. It could be a wedding. It could have been that weekend in California. It could have been that weekend in Vegas. Needless to say, HDD Recovery Services in Ottawa, Canada can help you out. Erkin, he bailed me out of a serious situation. I'm going to link all the information below. Please visit his website. Please give him a call if you're ever in this type of situation. Don't go through all the software crap after the very first one that you use in order to recover your photos or your video or your audio. Just reach out to this fella and let him take a look at it. If he can do it, he can do it. He will run it through anything software related prior to trying to retrieve the data. And believe me, if you spent 15 minutes on his YouTube video and just scattered around, and within the first 5 minutes of every video, you'd realize he handles it all. CF cards, USB drives, the amount of data on these SATA drives, USB drives, IDE that are also SATA drives inside, SSD cards. Oh gosh, don't you love these? You gotta love a rugged. Here's his telephone number, guys. It's 1-855-366-4232. You can call him direct right here in the States. And you can also visit him at HDDRecovery.ca. So once again, please consider calling Erican if you run into the situation, and tell him that it's because you saw this video with Lenny from Cinematic Wedding Story that, he recommended you guys to give him a call. Really, really appreciate it if you would do so, because he helped me out tremendously. Thanks again, everybody. Have a great day.